Would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Hey, hello, this is Gray over at Wakizashi's Teahouse in Japan. How you doing? Are you good? Are you Genki? Happy Emperor's birthday. The power. No, not that Emperor. It's actually, it's a Japanese national holiday. It's Friday the 23rd of February. The Emperor of Japan, do you know his name? No, it's not Gray, unfortunately. It's Naruhito. Mr. Naruhito is 64 today, and we all get a day off, so that's brilliant. And to join me and celebrate this wonderful Japanese national holiday, I don't know why I'm laughing, sorry, I have a good friend. It is the one, the only, the man with the hottest takes on YouTube, the man who's fascinated by pods and bugs. It's Salty, Traveling Sea. How are you, Salty?
I'm actually fascinated by hot chicks too, in good 1980s fantasy stories, and
me too.
Good science fiction. It's good to see you. Thanks for reaching out to me tonight. I was just hanging out watching somebody shit to about a comic book creator who doesn't know how to make comic books, and ripped a lot of people off by overpromising and under-delivered. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather talk about something good with my friend Gray. So thanks for having me on.
We've got people in the chat as well, sorry, let's welcome. Long time no see, your Barmy's here with the 3 Nama beers. Nama, Mitsu, that's 3 beers please in Japanese. Nerporial, I thought Gray wasn't doing any more live streams. I know, it was a spur of the moment decision. It's like shouted out Salty, so see if he's busy, otherwise it was just going to be me reading you a boring story again.
Oh, dude, we love when you read us stories. I will say though that maybe having a producer in the background that can keep rotating the chat and responding to the chat might be advisable. But I love when Gray reads. I don't know about you guys, and I'm not getting paid for saying that. I actually love when Daddy reads me a bedtime story. You know?
Daddy will read you a story anytime you want. Good to see Nosferatu as well.
I don't mean that in a Zach's way. I mean it in a nice way, not in a fist up the bum way.
Oh my god. Do you know what, Salty? It's cold, wet and windy in Japan. It's currently 6 degrees Celsius, whatever that is in American. I don't know.
Sounds like it's in the 40s.
Can you vamp for a sec, Salty? I'm just going to change
Sure. Yeah, I'll just do everything on your goddamn channel. What a shocker. Anyway, what's going on in chat? Hold on, I got to pull this thing up and find the channel. Wait, there he is. Nosferatu the Vampire says, shall I commit seppuku for the Emperor? No, but you can send Gray a pizza with calamari on it, and I actually would like calamari on it. Who else do we got here? Your Barmy's got the salt going. Nosferatu says, I watched The Princess Bride earlier, Salty, but then I realized Buttercup gives Forrest AIDS later on. It is difficult, isn't it, once you sort of see that? Because I remember, honest to God, I remember being in it was a crowded movie theater in Asheville, North Carolina, and it was when Forrest Gump came out. And everybody's like crowded and loving this movie. And then everybody in the theater was like, wait, did you whispering? Did she just give him fucking AIDS? Did she just fucking give him AIDS? And it's like, yeah, the bitch fucking gave goddamn cool, nice war hero, wonderful, generous, kind, fucking Forrest Gump AIDS because she's a crackhead heroin whore, and then she needed a baby daddy because guess what? Forrest has got all that money now, so now she's all set. And then apparently she dies, and then he's got his kid, and his kid's probably got fucking AIDS too. So thanks a lot, Princess Buttercup. Wow, that was a weird tangent.
Jesus, thanks a lot for that, Nosferatu. Oh my god, unbelievable. I can't believe it. And by the way, here's a quick photo of the Emperor just to say, hello, happy birthday. There he is, 64.
Omrio gato, Mr. Robato.
Domo arigato.
Mr. Robato.
Nosferatu also says, do some Shiko, Salty. We've got to do some Shiko live on stream. That's the sumo, one of the sumo exercises they do for strengthening their stance and their core. You know what I mean? God. And great to see you all, by the way. So, Salty, you know what I'm like. I don't plan these things, but there is a little bit of a plan to this today. There is a little bit of a plan, and it links to the thumbnail.
You send me a comic book 40 minutes before we go live, and you're like, would you please read this so that we can talk about it? And I'm like, oh, sure, Gray. I'll stop what I'm doing to then read this comic book that I've never seen before. But as it turns out, this was a good thing. So thank you for that.
It was a good thing, and I'm glad to hear you say that, because this comic book, which I'm going to bring up on the screen in a second, has been getting a lot of positive press, and I wanted to check if it actually is, merited, if it deserves it, or is it just the usual, comic book shills, like giving everything 10 out of 10. But it's not just the review site, Soldy, it's the fans, the Spidey fans who have been sick of the regular series, sick of Amazing Spider-Man because it's been crap for so long. They're loving it, but it's only issue 2. Now, what we're talking about? Here we go.
And the thing is we've learned this. I mean, I've learned this I think it was on the 11th or the 17th. I've been on YouTube for 3 years, which I don't make a big deal out of.
Wow.
Why would I? I gave a lot of my time and effort for not much to this platform, but I've made some really great friends and I've made some content that I'm proud of. But we've learned in watching entertainment, especially in streaming shows, that they like to play a little game where they'll kind of give you 2 or 3 episodes, and then toward the middle of the 3rd episode, you're like, don't do it. Don't become all about girl bosses and trans representation and hating on communism and all the shit that they do. Don't suddenly rewrite this universe that we love to insert your substandard plot, like Wheel of Time, well, let's be honest, The Rings of Power failed within the couple of minutes of the 1st episode. But so many shows, especially Apple TV, is really guilty of that. But I don't know, because I haven't looked at a mainstream comic book character like this probably since the 90s when I was still collecting. So I don't know how it works in comics. I listen to you. I listen to Max Field on Priestley about this stuff, and I trust your opinion. But I gotta tell you, I actually really liked this comic book a lot.
Is that my cue to come in?
Sorry. Great, I'm sorry. Is your live stream interrupting your ability to do other shit while we're live? Because if it is, that's fine. Like, I'll just sit here. I can hum up and away.
You know, I'm like Tolly. I can't multitask to save me life.
Blue. How can you ever know how to lick the rosebud and find the G spot, then, dude? You gotta learn. These is important skills, Grayson.
Hi, wakarimashita, Salty-sama. Okay, yeah. So we're talking about Ultimate Spider-Man, issue 2, which is, Jesus Christ, sorry, what you like. It's written by Jonathan Hickman.
Do you want to restart the live stream? Do you just want to pretend this never happened, like we're Joe Biden and we could just fake it and edit it 30 times?
Fake it like you make it. Jonathan Hickman's writing it, so he has a bit of a tendency to be very verbose. The artist is by Marco Cicchetto, who was doing Daredevil, the really good Daredevil run a couple of years ago. So the art is excellent. But Salty, the first thing I wanted to ask you about this is there too much talking in this comic book?
So here's the problem I have, and maybe it's because I haven't really read comic books, mainstream comic books, since the 90s when I still collected. I don't like the computer font that they put on the page.
Okay, gotcha.
For a story like this. I like inked letters. It was a distraction to me because it almost like somebody was spoofing dialogue or internal monologue with something that shouldn't have been there when it was the correct dialogue. But I want to see ink. I want to see imperfections of ink drawn letters for dialogue bubbles and things like that. Now, that being said, that is a nitpick, and I'm fully aware of that. Now, there were a couple of panels where there was too much dialogue, but it was a rarity. It wasn't. It was like probably 3% of the story. I will say that. There was also an annoying part where they put someone texting like in a half side panel thing, and I'm like, I don't give two shits. I don't need to see text messages in my superhero comic book thing. Like I don't need to do that. But
let's make this smaller. Oh my god, what am I doing? There we go.
I like what they did with this alternate, and jump on me, Gray, if I'm getting this wrong. This appears to be an alternative universe. This appears to be an alternative universe where Peter Parker never got his powers. Do you want to refresh people's memories on this? Because you gave me that, and it helped me understand this a lot more. So, sorry about that.
Yes, I will. Let me just get back to the issue. I've got it. I can't even find it now, Salty. Okay, it's an ultimate Spider-Man. It's in an alternate version of Earth. What happened is this crazy villain called the Maker went back in time, and he killed, or he stopped, the radioactive spider from biting Peter Parker, ladies, when Peter Parker was, a teenager. So what's happened now is that's been rectified, but he doesn't get the powers until he's, I think, 30, maybe in his 30s or 30 years old. So he's grown up, he's gone to college, he's got a job, he's married to Mary Jane, they've got 2 kids. It's a lovely family-centric universe where he wasn't Spider-Man. Yeah. So just getting the powers, Salty, after all these years, issue 2, he's only just starting to use them, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a fascinating take, and there's so much more, because it's kind of like a universe catching up with the way the universe should go. So you're seeing not just Peter Parker delayed, but you're seeing the Daily Bugle actually having been acquired by somebody else, and J. Jonah Jameson there, but out of phase. You know what I mean? Like it's I like stories like that, where it's like, what if you got on a train in one moment, or you didn't, you waited and took the next train? How would the universe change? How would things happen? And I find that fascinating, because I do know the original story of Spider-Man and these characters and things like that. And I'm not talking about anything from Marvel in the last 10 fucking years. So your Barmy gave you a $2 super chat, and I can read Nosferatu's deeply offensive comment if you don't want to, Gray. So
let me just have a look. How far are we in into the stream? Let's see.
It's just 2 above it.
It's only 12 minutes in. Yeah, go for it. Do you want to read it? And Your Barmy, thank you very much, by the way. First of all, let me just give this for Your Barmy. This is for you. It's been a while. And speaking of Spider-Man... Okay, let's get the comment.
You don't need to put it on the screen.
I'm turning it off. I'm taking it off quick.
Someone want to come on and help me out with Gray. Nosferatu the vampire. Listen, the vampire.
The vampire. Are you going British, mate? You're going very British there, I saw you.
Yeah. That reminds me, the first time I fingered a chick and hit the back of her vajayjay. It scared us.
Oh my God.
I remember the first time I hit the back of their throat, and it was
what's going on? And that's it for the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. It's been Gray and Solid Traveling C from, I don't know, from Russia with love.
God, that chick was hot.
Charlie the Unicorn saying, what the hell? I just got a Japanese language commercial. That's awesome, mate. I can teach you Japanese for free if you stay on the stream long enough. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I hope you're good. I hope you're Genki. So, Salty, what we talking about? Yeah, a little bit more background. The reason I like this comic much more than the first issue. The first issue was a bit boring. It was all set up. It was very verbose. But, as you said, J. Jonah Jameson, he's quit the Daily Bugle because the Kingpin, I think he's running it now. He's taken over. He's the boss of the Daily Bugle, and he's quit. Ben Parker, Peter Parker's uncle, is not dead in this universe. He's alive, and he's gone off with J. Jonah Jameson to set their own paper up. That's the plan, I think. And there's a great scene of them talking. Is it a Turkish spa?
It's a steam room. I mean, like guys go into it without blowing each other, like Barack Obama.
Oh my God!
Service guys. You go in there, and then it's a cleanse. It's a spritz. You go and you deep detox. But I liked this, and the thing about this comic book is that it felt like it was completely storyboarded to be a TV show, and it was economical.
Interesting.
The shot composition was excellent. The dialogue was good. I mean, and that's the thing where it was a little verbose here and there, but really it would have been great dialogue for a TV show. And I actually like these characters. I had empathy for Peter Parker, even though, I haven't read a modern comic in a long time, but I liked the story and I liked the pacing, and I thought Mary Jane was super hot too. And there are some funny moments without being Guardians of the Galaxy funny. They're just like Spider-Man trying to figure out how to land because he doesn't know how to land, and Spider-Man being tricked into thinking a villain surrendering and then getting his ass kicked and getting thrown in a dumpster. It was really entertaining because you can see the Peter Parker, I think, that all of us who grew up with the original OG Peter Parker, you can see that sort of kind of naive, good-hearted guy who's now a dad and a little older, suddenly now trying to be Spider-Man without the benefit of all the years having learned as a teenager. So,
yeah, nice one. What I liked about it, why I think it's better than the first issue, is you get more Spider-Man in this. You didn't really get any because he wasn't Spider-Man yet, but he was just getting the powers. More focus on Peter Parker as he's trying to learn what to do with these powers, which that was pretty good too, wasn't it? So he doesn't get it straight away. He's making mistakes. He can't stick the landing, can he? He's firing too much web. That was pretty cool.
And his interactions with his children are fantastic. He's got 2 little girls, and
yes,
it's very grounded. It is a rarity in 2024 to have something that seems to have a heart and some humanity, and yet be a superhero story. So, I mean, again, maybe I haven't been paying attention to, and I'm sorry, I've got a Coast Guard helicopter flying over because that's where I live. This is the only Coast Guard helicopter station, and then you're dead in the Pacific after that. But
I can't hear anything. Don't worry.
All right, must be the noise canceling. But yeah, I just had a rescue chopper going over. But I enjoyed reading this. I was really genuinely shocked. So
good. I'm just trying to make it a bit bigger, but it's not working. Never mind. Okay, I'm trying
if
to
you
show
want me
the.
to keep talking while you dick around doing something else and playing over there, then just let me know. Okay.
I want to show the children, the 2 children. Where are we?
Sweet baby Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, he's got an adorable daughter, and I think he thought he had a son. I don't know, but I like this comic book, and here I collect the Conan. I get the Fire and Ice. I get the Wheel of Time. The Great Hunt comic. Gray shared with me something that hopefully we're going to talk about with some other people, which is they're going back to the oversized format of Conan, and I'm not going to steal your thunder on that. I'm already got my significant. Well, we'll just say I've already got somebody picking that up for me the minute that it gets out, and I cannot wait to have an oversized, black and white pulp paper fantasy. Monthly again. I cannot wait because I used to buy those all the time in the 80s. So
I think that's coming out. I think it's next week, end of February. So you're talking about the Savage Sword of Conan coming from Titan Comics, who are already putting out a brilliant Conan the Barbarian series, by the way. If anyone's not reading that and you like Conan, you like fantasy, you like sword and sorcery, do pick it up. It's been epic.
And you shared some of the images from your advanced reader's copy of that oversized Savage Sword of Conan. It is freaking amazing. It is freaking amazing. I'm getting 3 copies of it. 1 to read and then 2 to bag and board. One is probably as an investment. And I might send you one if you don't piss me off. So
What, me? Piss you off?
It was me being funny.
When would I ever do that, salted darling? Come on. Right. What I'll try and do, I'm trying to find some photos of that comic book, but anyway, can you vamp a set while I do stuff in the background, try and multitask?
Well, sure, I'll go ahead and do that. So yeah, we got Nosferatu. There's Vampire says Barmy's my boy. I'm not going to read your comment about walnuts inside vaginas. I'm not going to do that. Nosferatu says, question for the panel. What is the best boxed wine brand to drink? I'm a Franzia, man. It's funny you should mention that because there have been times when I travel, and the last thing you want is a bunch of half-drank battles rolling around in the car, because state troopers, regardless of where you go, seem to want to understand why you're traveling with open liquor containers, and it's like, dude, if I drank this bottle in one night, I'd be dead. So, why do you have this tucked away in the back in a grocery bag rolled up inside a suitcase? Well, so that it's not loose in the car, but it's still an open bottle. So that being said, Blackstone, I got some of that and it wasn't bad. As far as like drinking wine, if you're just going to drink wine, but I honestly, if I get wine, it's going to be something like a Chianti or a Spanish Red or an Italian. It's not in a box. However, there is an organic. It sounds funny, but a Washington State wine, it's organic, and it comes in a box. And it's actually incredible, and you don't have a headache the next day because of the tannins, and then also the GMO yeast, which is prevalent in a lot of brewing, which actually makes people sick. But do I have to keep talking, or did you figure your shit out yet, Greg?
I got it, baby.
I have to keep talking, apparently. All right, okay.
Check this out. So Savage Sword of Conan comes out on the 28th of Feb, which is next Wednesday. Overpriced, of course. It's $6.99, but it's magazine size, the format. It's 80 pages, Salty, in it. You get a massive main story. You get a backup story with Solomon Kane.
Not overpriced. $7 for 80 pages in a magazine format. Again, this takes me right back to my childhood with a lot of those oversized zines that you get out. And they'd have multiple different kinds of stories out there. I remember there's one I used to get. It was just of World War II stories. And they have like different characters or just single one-shot stories, from different perspectives of different branches of services of the Allies or the French or the British. It was great. It was just great to have all these stories, and then of course all the cool ads for sea monkeys and all this other stuff in the back of the zine. But
from the covers, which one would you go for? Would you go for the main one, this one here? Let's have a look. There's a variant by Gerardo Zaffido, this one.
Yeah.
And there's only two more. There's one by Max von Fafner. I don't know why it's got a dinosaur on. Well, maybe.
That's the alternate.
No
where what I really want is the main cover, because I think that's the best. But I said if there is that third cover from the dinosaur perspective, that I would very much like to have. But I think the main cover is great. The internal art is fantastic. It is just, it looks and feels like Conan. Conan.
Sure it does. That's Joe Jusko on the main cover there. I wasn't sure who did it. Wow. Okay, cool, Salty. That's awesome. Let me get back to here, because I've got like 2 different tabs going. Well, no, I've got 5 different tabs going at the same time, and I can't handle more than one.
Do we want to finish Spider-Man and then talk about something else? Dude, I had a pet rock. I had a pet rock too.
I didn't have a pet rock. I always wanted sea monkeys though, and I didn't know what they really were. And one day someone told me, and it ruined my childhood dreams. It spoiled them all.
It was a lie. It was like
it was a lie.
Lies. Yeah, it was up there with the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy. Yeah.
We've got a hot comment from your Barmy. Were there black NIZs in the World War II stories? Gemini thinks so.
Does any of this surprise you?
I don't even know what that means. It's gone over my head, Salty. Can you fill me in?
So, long story short, this whole AI thing where you can tell. Well, in this case, Gemini is Google, and you can type in phrases like "show an authentic World War II Nazi soldier in 1943," and so Gemini is the AI version. Now, I use AI quite a bit. And I've shared some of what I've been doing with you in AI art generator for something I'm working on. But Gemini is the one used by Google, because of course it's run by complete globalist lunatics who want to erase Caucasian culture and the patriarchy and everything that's wonderful about this country and Western civilization. It was showing if you said something like "show me Henry VIII," and it was some black guy with a big old afro dressed in Henry VIII clothes, or "show me the native people of Scotland," and it's a black guy and a Native American guy. It's like everything but Caucasians in every role, including the Nazi soldiers. They had black Nazis and then gay, like American Indian Nazis, and like Asian, Chinese, lesbian, communist, Nazis, all in the World War II stuff. And it's just like, does this shock anybody at all? And I'm like, yeah, no shit. You know what I mean? Like, no shit. Reality is a problem, especially for a company like Google. So.
I'm just replying to Nosferatu. Salty, can you please bully Gray into reading Blood Meridian for me? I wish I could. I can't speak American, Salty. I can't do a good accent.
Well, Cormac McCarthy's no joke. And I had a friend of mine who actually wrote his master's degree on an analysis of Cormac McCarthy literature, in particular Blood Meridian. So I'm very familiar with that work. It is not for the faint of heart, and that is one of those books that I read The Road. I never need to read The Road again. Okay.
Oh God, that was hard. That was a hard read.
Native Stern stuff. But Cormac McCarthy, I don't think he's required reading. I think if you have time on your hands and you really want to get into, I would say, the deepest, darkest hole of dystopian fiction, The Road is for you. So
I started reading it, Blood Meridian, and it's a heavy, hard read. He's got a certain style, which is cool. It's a cool style. Doesn't much believe in punctuation or, But yeah, it's great. But it was too heavy at the time, and I got distracted salty because of DUNE 2 coming out shortly. I started rereading Children of DUNE.
Oh, Jesus. I can't read any more DUNE, dude. The last time I picked up a DUNE book was 1986, and I'm like, I can't finish this. And you know what? I have no shame, and I will tell anybody in the world that. I saw DUNE. I have it on Blu-ray. I think it is a beautiful movie. I think the movie is nonsensical, and I think there's really not a lot of discernible plot, but it is a very beautiful movie. Okay, which is ironic because one could arguably say the same thing about Blade Runner 2049, and yet Blade Runner 49 has a plot that pisses me off. So
yeah, me too.
I'm looking forward to seeing DUNE 2, though. I think it's a beautiful.
They're both beautiful looking movies, as you say. Yeah, I like the visuals in both of them. It was weird. I've got a soft spot for David Lynch as well. Even it wasn't even his cut in the end. He was taken off it, but they say the Lynch version of DUNE, because that's one of the first movies I saw in the cinema, Salty, when I was a kid. Right on. Like I was about 10 or 11, and I convinced my mum and dad to let me go and see it. I loved it. I thought it was amazing, and it's crazy. I know it's full of flaws. I know, but
I didn't see it in the theater. I did see it when it was on HBO afterwards, and it was trippy. It's a product of the 80s, and you have to look at it in parallel to other science fiction stuff that was going on at that time. And when you do that, it all kind of makes sense. It was extraordinarily forward thinking and avant-garde progressive, but not a progressive in the, hey, everyone's gay and black kind of a way like now, but progressive in the way that the story was paced, which was different for the time. It's a David Lynch movie. So,
there's a really good cut on YouTube called the DUNE 1984 Alternative Edition Redux Spice Diver Fan Edit, and it's a great version.
Really?
I'm going to share a little bit of this, Salty. Just let me bring it up, just to show something different.
I'd love to watch that with you and a bunch of people, just to watch it, because I've been spending a lot of my time watching movies from the 40s and 50s, honestly, going back to a lot of old stuff. And it's wonderful to have stories that lack diversity. Really,
I'm not going to play this, but just look at the color. They made it overly golden. I know the sand, but I love that about it. And the new version of DUNE, it's very bland. It's very kind of gray. It
looks like great 80s science fiction. This was cutting edge science fiction stuff. Even the effects. Look at the uniforms. I mean, there's so much detail in this movie. There
was so much money spent on it.
Oh, yeah.
It was a huge bomb, wasn't it? I think it was a big bomb.
Nobody wanted to go see this movie. Nobody. And that's why I didn't see it when it was live, So
that's how I imagine DUNE looking the planet, with the filters, the gold, and it just looks beautiful. And the new version, it looks awesome, but I just thought they made it look very bland. Kind of grey.
Yeah.
Maybe just me.
On Blu-ray on a big screen in 4K, I think anytime there are starships in some of the throne rooms where you're starting to look at scenes almost like with a black and white photography standpoint with so many gradients, I think those are beautifully shot. when what's his name is running around with that diverse chick, what the hell is her name, Isaiah or whatever, the one that was wearing the see-through plastic ass chaps at the opening thing. I don't think she can act. I don't give a shit about her at all, but I do like Paul Atreides. Your Barmy says, need a Flash Gordon made for a modern audience. Well, we did have Flesh Gordon, which was pretty good.
That was very entertaining. Yeah, I remember seeing that with a group of buddies. Like we got a dodgy version on pirate VHS back in the day. Oh, yeah. Flesh Gordon. I didn't even know it was Italian for years. Salty. I thought it was I thought it was an English movie in English.
Well, the original Flash Gordon serials. I used to watch those with my grandfather with Buster Keaton, and that's part of what drove my love for science fiction. They were on WGN TV. And as a kid in the late 70s, watching that with that crazy rocket thing with the sparks flying off the back. And I don't care who you are. If you watch those stories, you will understand why Star Wars is the way that it is and why Indiana Jones in the Raiders of the Lost Ark was made, because those were direct inspirations to both George Lucas and to Steven Spielberg. The pacing of those serials, they managed to put into their movies, and that's part of the reason they were so successful, which is utterly lost now because they just want to have fat, morbidly obese, trans, black communists sitting down, hating on men now.
Every time you go on one of those roles, I'm gonna drop a clip. Salty, I want you to address this comment from Nos. This is true. Did you know that David Lynch was one of the directors up for Return of the Jedi before they decided on Richard Marquand? That would have been bizarre, wouldn't it? That could have been amazing. It could have been terrible as well.
Right, it would have never been good. It would have never worked. It would have been insane. It would have been 4 times as much money, and it would have been some weird, trippy Battle Beyond the Stars level cringe.
I bet his Ewoks would have looked better than George Lucas's. Well,
I was never a fan of the Ewoks because I
wasn't, man.
Even then, they were releasing magazine articles saying that this was going to be a Wookiee planet, and they didn't because it cost too much money, which is insane because you're Star Wars. You are Star Wars, okay? You're going to make $1 billion freaking dollars, spend the money, and give me a bunch of goddamn Ewoks. Instead, we get Teddy Ruxpin running around the world.
I remember that. Those commercials, even in the UK, we'd heard of that.
It was so terrible, dude. And
Teddy Ruxpin.
Are you trying to sell more goddamn toys? Is that what this is? Like, you didn't make billions of dollars off of Star Wars and Empire? Like, oh, wait, we've got to change it and make about teddy bears now. Like, who the fuck thought this was a good idea?
Yeah, but wait a minute. Imagine if you were a much younger kid and you saw your first Star Wars was Return of the Jedi. I bet you would love the Ewoks, wouldn't you?
No. My baby brother, who's 12, my baby brother's 10 years younger than I am. So when I would have saw this, he would have been 8. Let me do the math. He would have been around 3 or 4. But even my younger brother, because I was 13, he would have been 11. We both hated it. We're like, we want Chewbacca. We want Chewbacca's girlfriend. We want Chewbacca's cousin. That's all that we want. And
where's the Wookiee planet? Come on.
Like, I don't know, my baby brother, even after, because it used to take a couple of years for things to come out on VHS back then, he's like the Ewoks are okay, he wanted the speeder bike, the one that Princess Leia rode. He thought that was cool, but nobody fucking liked the Ewoks, dude.
I know. Yobami was saying maybe in Lynch's version we would have seen the Ewoks actually eat someone. That would have been fun.
That would be okay. Yeah. That'd be all right. Back on the Cormac McCarthy trip. Yeah.
So sorry, this is complete. As I say, it's unplanned. We already talked Spider-Man. That was fine. We were going to do a.
No, we should talk about what is Salty? What did you think about the art? What did you think about the story? Do you think that you would read this at issue 3 if I sent it to you? What does the chat think? Why do you like it? Ask me those questions about this guy.
No one's interested though, Salty. We've only got Yobami and Nosferatu watching. Nobody cares about Gray and his comics.
Link. Send them the link, and then they can talk about this comic book.
Hey,
DJ Ronnie G is
DJ
here.
Ronnie G in the house. Awesome, mate. Great to see you. What do I have? I don't have anything else. No, that's all right. Okay, so yeah. Nah. We're not really doing a deep dive review.
James Bond girls, then? You said we had to talk about this comic book. I read the whole goddamn comic book, and they come on here, and we don't talk about the comic book. You're a
The only
dick.
comics I know are the Darkness and Fables, says Nosferatu.
Fair. I'm gonna go grab some comic books then. I'll be right back. You
Okay,
vampire
cool.
go.
DJ Ronnie G, you're actually home for once. It's isn't it like crazy o'clock where you are? I think if you're on the east side, it is, isn't it? It's like, oh no, it's only midnight. In Japan, it's 2:36 p.m. on a Friday. As I say, a wet and windy and cold Friday afternoon. It's the Emperor's birthday, so I just thought I'd do an impromptu live stream because I'm off work. I'm free. I've got the start of a 3-day weekend. So yeah, that's awesome. And no one wants to listen to me talk about comics. Come on, Salty, what have you got to share?
Just shut up and hold your goddamn horses, all right?
Grey bait and switch Salty, says your Barmy. I would never do that.
Welcome to my life, seriously. So let me try and do this with the lighting because I'm a YouTuber. But yeah, I mean, Fire and Ice. Like
Let me make you full screen. Hang on a second. There we go.
Yeah, Fire and Ice. You will of course notice the characters, but beautiful comic book. I got this is from Purple Valkyrie. She sent me these, and then of course I've got the Wheel of Time, the Great Hunt comic book series. They have to deface it by putting on this goddamn Amazon thing, and I'm sorry for the glare, but beautifully drawn.
No, the Amazon sticker on it, is it?
Oh
Ooh.
yeah, see it? Look at that. Yeah, look at that.
No.
Yep, and issue 2 is great. Look at that. I mean, just really great art. And I apologize because I'm trying not to get the glare off my.
No, it looks good. You've got it okay. Anti-glare. It's so hard to share, isn't it, when you got the glare?
Yeah, but just it's some beautiful art, you know. So you can take me off full, and
no, I'm leaving you there now.
Yeah,
that's it. You're on full screen. The rest of the stream. The night is still young, says DJ Ronnie G.
Yeah, that's what
it's
she
true.
said.
Okay, speaking of good art, Salty, let me share something with you. Just give us 1 sec. We will get back to Spider-Man, I promise. We will get there eventually.
Why bother? Nobody remembers what the hell we're talking about. Let's just look at pictures of Bond girls in bikinis, dude. That's why they're colors.
Salty Spawn, issue 350, dropped on Wednesday. I did a review of it. It's doing quite well for me. I think I've got about 250 views, which for me, on, that's really good. There's a change in artist. It's Brett Booth doing the main book now. Look at this art. Look at this, man. And I love the colours in this. Really good art. It's kind of a good place to jump in for new readers. It's not like a reboot, but they've explained what's been going on. There's been this crazy battle for the throne of hell. It's been going on for about 2 years in all the Spawn books. And it's finally revealed who sits on the throne, which I won't spoil here. I won't talk about that, but look at this art, Salty. What do you reckon?
Okay, those are good pages. Some of the other ones actually irritated me because I wasn't the biggest fan of them. But these kind of page layouts and them breaking sort of the structure looks good. I like the page on the left, the one on the right, and maybe it has to do with the color and shading of the guy in the green armor. It's a little off-putting. It's also really hard to do green metallic, but that is jarring. When you work with a metallic surface that's in a 3-dimensional state, not everything is metallic. There are some parts of it which are matte, and so it's a nitpick. But my eye just it freaks me out. Now that's a great fucking shot. Like that is like have on a t-shirt worthy art right there. And for some reason, they get the shading of the metallic green right there. So
it's better there, isn't it? Yeah, I think it might be his eyes or something. I'm not sure, but it does look a bit weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And green again is one of those colors where you gotta back off on some of this. The green is just it doesn't have enough dark green to it. You know, there's not like they get it right in some panels, and the rest of it just looks like he skinned the Jolly Green Giant and made a suit out of him. You know,
I like it. Nice one. Yeah, so that's worth picking up. You know, it's for Spawn, it's oversized. It's only $4.99. You know, the regular issues are only $2.99. Still, they're the only comic book that's doing that.
Really?
$2.99 for Spawn every month. And that's Todd McFarlane Image.
I honestly, you know, the minute that because you reached out to me to show me that Savage Sword of Conan, the oversized monthly, the magazine size with 80 pages. I have not been that excited about a comic book probably since the original Conan series. Again, that Max Field von Priestley's talked about, you've talked about. Well,
Okay.
I actually really enjoy, and I started to get the Fire and Ice because of the commentary from you gentlemen, and I've got the Wheel of Time because I got the Wheel of Time graphic novels from Chuck Dixon that he did originally. It's interesting to, and sometime we should talk about indie comics, because I've learned a lot. A lot of things I didn't know about a lot of things, and we're not going to talk about it on the show, but I have become very selective with people that I give money to that are in the YouTube sphere that say that they know how to make comic books, because in my opinion, very fucking few do. And
okay.
there are people that I do support and will continue to support that are contentious and that are shit talkers on this platform. But you know what? They're good artists first. And the minute that they're not good artists, I will stop supporting them. But my God, guys, have you noticed everybody on this platform is making a shit tier comic book and you're supposed to support it? And we're all supposed to applaud really terrible art in dodgy stories and give them $35 for something that we haven't seen. You know, I want to support independent creators. I desperately do. But I am never going to give somebody $35 blind for a book ever again. Ever again. You know, it sounds harsh, but it's the reality. I don't want Marvel and DC to fail. I want Marvel and DC to produce quality products. And where I'm going with this is you just showed me that Spider-Man. I don't know how the rights issues goes. Is this from Marvel, Gray? That Spider-Man that you showed me, is this under that umbrella? Or
it is, yeah. It's under the new version of the Ultimate Universe, because they had that quite a few years ago, and the Ultimate Spider-Man was very popular.
Very clearly, they could have made an issue of this at any time in the last 10 years. They chose not to. For that, they deserve to fail. Okay, one good issue in one good comic book of one good superhero is not enough to make me want to go out on a date with him. Okay, but it is enough for me to check out their ass. It is enough for me to check out their ass as they're walking by. And I would very much like to see issue number 3 of what you just said, Gray, because if this story continues, and I would love to believe that there's somebody in Marvel going, can you just give us a chance to make some fucking money for a change? And you and all your they, them, dear people, asshole, whatever, people can keep jerking off, making shit nobody wants, with making comic books about menstruation and transitioning and all this shit, whatever it is. And we'll just make one comic book. You can see in the artwork in this, there's excellent physics, excellent point of view. Look at the skyline. Look at the color palettes. This is what is pissing me off about a lot of independent comic creators right now. They don't know how to color at all. Nobody gives a shit about the color. It's just like, oh, I'm going to press this button and fill the whole thing in. Nobody knows how to gradient. But go back to that stuff. That's J. Jonah Jameson up in the panel.
Oh, yeah. Where are we? Here we go.
In the steam room having a conversation. This is fantastic, because it's a really important conversation and you can hear J. Jonah Jameson's voice in his head. But every panel of this comic book moves the story forward. Every single thing that happens in this fucking comic book leads you to want to find out what happened.
Okay, Salty.
No, I am. Right. I bottled this shit up because, I mean, I swear to God, I'm so fucking pissed off, and I'm not going to name names, not because I'm a coward, but because I don't want to give this grifter piece of shit who really broke my heart and then was a total bitch that couldn't accept any positive criticism of his shitty first comic and then went on a pity fucking like SJW rant, dragging down all the other big guys out there who are still up his ass pretending that he has any talent. Okay, so I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck who that.
No, you don't have to say sorry. I've been stepping away from it, Salty. You know what I'm like? I just try and not ignoring it, but I just thought I don't want to even open up this can of worms.
Someone drugged me into this. I got dragged into this stuff. I didn't care. I just unsubscribed to this guy who I was stupid enough to give $35 to. That's on me. I'm never going to give him another $35 again, and he can fuck off. And I'm going to watch his content or any of the assholes that are out there pretending that what he did was any good, because it's not, you know? But when I see this comic book, like this Ultimate Universe Spider-Man Gray, it invigorates me because this is what I remember loving about comic books from the 80s and 90s. It's a good story, well-drawn art with good physics, excellent coloring, and it leaves you hanging wanting another issue. And this is such a rarity in any form of entertainment, whether it is a movie or a streaming show, where you get something where you care about the humanity of the characters. So
I'm glad you got that rant out of your system. I just wanted to welcome somebody in the chat who I've not seen for a while. Maybe it's Carl's Collection. How you doing, mate? Great to see you. He was talking about the Spawn issue, and also he's saying that Greg Capullo, who's another really good artist, he's going to be doing Wolverine. He's going to make Marvel some money. That sounds cool to me.
I collected that original 4-issue run with the classic iconic covers of that Wolverine miniseries when it came out. And back then, you just walked into a comic book shop and it was like, holy cow, look at this cover, you know? And then you bagged it, you boarded it, and like you didn't know that was going to be like the high watermark or some type of classic comic book. You didn't know. You just always expected excellent quality in the comic books that you bought. And it's baffling now where I'm ranting and raving like a lunatic and have like warm fuzzies about a pretty good Spider-Man comic book because it was an utter and total shit. You know? I don't know.
You're all right. I like it when you go on a rant, mate. Where are we? You saw the review that I did of the latest Hellblazer Dead in America issue, didn't you?
Yeah.
Just wanted to share some of the art. Here it is. The art in that is really good as well. Aaron is called an artist called Aaron Campbell. Aaron Campbell. Look at this scene here.
I'm gonna make it big. Hold on. Okay, some excellent line work in this. And this is what I mean about art. When you look at these panels and you can see there's good physics, there's good perspective, there's excellent use of color, though. Look at that. I love when somebody puts mastery of their craft into a composition like this.
Yeah.
And I say that not like I'm not a huge comic book guy anymore, but as somebody who appreciates cinema, I spent a lot of time in the darkroom developing film back in the day. Just, I don't know, and also watching movies from the 40s and 50s, appreciating cinematography. And that's why, like, when I see these panels in these comic books where they
look at the background, so the detail in the backgrounds, you don't see that anymore, do you?
Beautiful. No, you don't. Yeah. And not only that, but again, look at the colorist and the lighting. They deliberately highlight where the light would be. Okay.
Yeah.
Like you believe this is real. Yeah. And not only that, but it looks like the outdoor seat are they on Bourbon Street or something like that?
It's supposed to be, New Orleans. It's the Bourbon Street tour.
I lived in New Orleans for a summer during college. That's the way it looks. I can smell the urine and the beer and hear the music. This looks real. I mean, cool. That fires me up. Somebody knows how to color. Look at that.
There's John Constantine.
This is gorgeous, Gray. This is a gorgeous color, but it's a gorgeous coloring book that makes use of duotone. Okay, you're using black and then maybe one other color. And it's fantastic because look at how dramatic it is. It's minimalist and perfect.
Love that scene there. That's a great scene. Oops.
It's just gorgeous, dude. It's gorgeous. It's got an element of oh god, I'm totally getting stream brain of Sandman. It's got an element of that surrealistic,
the old Vertigo, the Vertigo titles.
Yeah, and that is very effective if you have a good story to go with it. So
Carl's Collection, can't stay too long. Pretty late for me here, but I saw the booth art and had to pop in. No, I appreciate you, mate. Thanks a lot for jumping in. It's great to see you. You have a good night. Yes, good to talk something positive with Salty. It's awesome.
I don't get.
So we started out talking about Ultimate Spider-Man. Now we've gone through Sword of Conan. We've gone through a bit of Hellblazer, Spawn. You were showing me those Fire and Ice first two issues, which is the fantasy one that's based on the awesome 1980s animated movie, not the DC terrible recent Fire and Ice comic, by the way. Nothing to do with that.
No,
issue 3 Salty should be out soon, shouldn't it? I think issue 3 is coming soon.
I'm getting
Fire
the UK imports from Purple, so she's going to be picking me that up. So
okay, awesome.
My local comic book shop removed all of their comics, including back issues. They also removed
serious? No way.
They also got rid of all the Funko Pops. My local comic shop is nothing but anime and manga. That is all that they have. That and then board games. And they have a couple of they have Warhammer 40K stuff, and they have a lot of model stuff, but a lot of miniature making, but that's all. The store is probably 80% manga and anime, and that is it. Not even anime Funko Pops. So it's really wild to see, it still is a comic book or comic shop in the title of it, not have one goddamn comic book. American comic book at all. So
American comic books. It's ridiculous what's going on over there, but yeah. Wow, where are you at? Salty says, ICT Vinny, good to see you, mate. Thanks for dropping in.
It's no secret I'm in Port Angeles, Washington, so if I need to drive towards Seattle. There may be something in Port Townsend, but that's like a commie shithole, and I don't like going there. It's a liberal utopia of idiocy. But I'll go to Silverdale. There's a couple of comic book shops there. But I got to drive probably an hour and a half to 2 hours to get there. And I live in the middle of nowhere by design. This is not an accident. I live in the middle of nowhere for a reason. I don't want to be around big cities and people. I like my mountains and my ocean and then like all the wildlife around here that could kill me. So that's why I live here.
So Salty, this is going to be issue 3. It's not out until March 20th, so we've still got another month to wait.
Look at her.
Fantastic. There we go. How many variant covers have we got? 200. Okay.
That's retarded, but that's not bad.
That's a bit simple though. Very simple.
It's
and
very rare
basic.
that I like a clean light art illustration or pen illustration of a comic book. So that's actually pretty great. I actually like that.
Okay, that's by the actual interior artist, Leonardo Manco.
Yeah, cool.
I
have a lot of respect when you do gradient like that in grayscale and pencil. It looks freaking awesome. And it takes a lot of work too. So,
You're not sure about the watercolor one, are you? This one? Is it watercolor?
That's stupid. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
That one's not bad because it's got that Franzetta look to it almost a little bit,
Yeah, a little bit. I like the mushroom at the bottom. It's the skull.
Yeah, I like her tits too. They're pretty great.
So, something good, something to look forward to. Hopefully, it doesn't get put back again because we had to wait about 5 months, was it? Or 4 months for issue 2. It was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's
Remember
like, things are not the way it used to be. And it's just like stuff like this doesn't bother me. After how many bad shows have we all sat through, guys? Like, I'm sitting on some Rings of Power stuff that I could have made a video about, but guess what? No one even cares to watch
Nobody cares
about anything to do with Rings of Power. Like, nobody cares. And I was telling you about it, and I know just some guy ran with it too, but it's actually from a Tolkien fan site that blocked me on social media, but also jacked me out of their YouTube live stream and removed all my comments after the fact, talking about season 1. Fellowship of the Fans, we're not friends. But as it turns out,
I remember that, by the way. I remember that. You're telling me that.
Yeah, I mean, Fellowship of the Fans. We'll save it for another live stream. Let's just say that they called out Amazon for lying to them and using them and giving them inaccurate information about the series. And they were going to reevaluate what they put out about the Rings of Power based on the fact that, in their words, the production team behind the Rings of Power lied to them about what's actually in the show.
What a surprise, eh? What a surprise.
I love this world. Tolkien is somewhere rolling in his grave going, why? Why you guys had all this money, $500 million, and you do this? I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Nobody gives a shit.
Shout out, Adiga Outlaws here, Salty, saying, hey, how you doing, man?
Dude, what's up, man? Yeah. This is a pretty fun stream. You might want to go back and watch part of it. But yeah, I was just talking about the stuff with the Fellowship of the Fans. I'm not trying to send anybody to anybody else's channel, but if you just want to watch the video to get your head around it, check out Just Some Guy. I know he said a lot of shit that I don't agree with, and he's kind of a wackadoodle. But he doesn't talk.
I thought he lost the plot for a while, Salty. I actually unsubbed a while back.
I unsubbed
kind of lost it.
But I unsubbed him too, but he came up in one of my I don't watch him all the time, and I'm not saying that defensively. He does, however, cover things about comic books that I do find fascinating. I can pull up the pertinent information. I don't know if anybody's even watching this stream again, but this is really what it comes down to in Gray. I already showed this to you. But
have you got it there?
Yeah.
Nice one, thank you.
Take it. Yeah, and I'm sharing this off my Mac, so deal with it. But I'll read it. This is a statement, and this is from the Fellowship of the Fans. Go and look them up. They're a legitimate site. This is who blocked me. This is who, again, booted me off their YouTube live stream for it. I wasn't being disrespectful. I was raising concerns about Payne and McKay being the showrunners, and they jacked me out. This is the same group that Amazon flew to London and apparently had signed NDAs to shill for season 1 of the Rings of Power, which was a complete and utter failure, not because I say so, but because it lost over 2/3 of their viewers. It says, this is a statement. Fellowship of the Fans has been aware of a long-term plan carried out over roughly the last 6 months by the production and team members of the Rings of Power to release and spread false rumors pertaining to season 2. The production and team members of Amazon's Rings of Power to release and spread false rumors pertaining to season 2. Due to this revelation, Fellowship of the Fans will be halting any releases of future reveals and scoops for the time being in order to undertake a full investigation to reevaluate and to analyze our previous scoops and reveals for season 2 to see if we have misreported anything or released purposeful misinformation from Amazon to get to the bottom of all of this. Just when you think that you have seen everything that you can from Amazon, Payne and McKay, the Rings of Power. Again, I don't know how to say this. This was one of the most combative, in my opinion, you had to love what Amazon did, or you were a hater and they blocked you. I'm still blocked by these people. I cannot view or comment on the videos. I am blocked by them on social media. I'm blocked by Empire, Amazon, you name it. I'm blocked by them. But these guys now, they've got religion because they found out that whatever is going on with Amazon in Rings of Power Season 2, in my opinion, it is so goddamn terrible that Amazon has to lie to these shill Tolkien websites to get them to be hyped up, to try and get people to go back to watch to a show that 60% of the people left before it was over. Gray, what do you think about this? Chat, what do you guys think about this?
I'm one of those people. I left.
You're Barney. You're right. Fucking moles.
I didn't even finish watching it, Salty. I was out, I think, episode...
about what they did live to me.
What was it?
And it's like, I don't, it's your channel. You don't, but I wasn't being disrespectful. I was saying what everybody here had said. But go ahead, Gray. I'm sorry.
No, some people, like you were just talking about earlier with the comics, some people just can't take criticism, constructive criticism. You weren't even being rude. But yeah, I don't know what to think about it. I've got no interest in it, to be honest, because I didn't even finish watching the first season. I knew it was bad by episode 3, and I just dropped out.
I walked away. I had on some of my live watches, and I was just over 2,000 at that time.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And I was getting upwards of 80, 100 views for the live watch and the response I was doing with people. I got to about episode 5, and I said, I can't do this anymore.
Just can't do it.
And I never regretted. I never regretted doing that because it was poisoning my love of Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, and it's how you could put Lord of the Rings in front of what Amazon did is completely unacceptable.
It's unwatchable, as your Barmy says. It was just terrible. Is that the video there? The latest one he's just put up. Amazon spread false rumors about their own show.
It's a short, sweet video, and it's worth it. And he doesn't talk about little kids or any of that shit that I thought was really fucking suspect about a year ago.
Okay, cool. Jesus.
But, I'll be right back. I'll give me 30 seconds, Gray.
Okay, you're good. Thanks, man. So there we go. It's been a while since we've had a bit of a rant from Salty. It was a very tame rant as well, but You know, that just sums up one of the many things that's wrong with not just Amazon, a lot of the big streaming companies, a lot of the big production companies these days, and you just know how it's going to play out, how it has kept playing out. They'll end up blaming the fans as usual. They'll end up blaming the people, you know, for not watching it. They'll blame YouTube. They'll blame videos criticizing it like, you know, people make. So whatever. What have I got to talk about? So where are we? We've been going for almost an hour. Unbelievable. This is the most people we've had watching. It's great to see you if you're still out there. Absolutely awesome. How's your Thursday night going? It feels weird for me to be doing a stream on a Friday. For me, it's Friday afternoon. I'm off work, so starting a 3-day weekend, Salty. Yeah, I'm just waffling. I'm waffling till you came back.
No.
So do you care? Do you think, have they lost all the people who were going to be interested in this series,
yes.
Season 2? I think they have.
Well, one of the things about covering Wheel of Time early, and it's how I met Prophet of the Dragon and Amanda Manethrin, and then eventually the White Cloaks, which before I even knew who they were, they had a YouTube channel. We covered what had happened to them on Reddit on my channel. I didn't even know what all that shit was about. But I feel very lucky to be able to work with these gentlemen, and I text with these guys about stuff all the time. We hang out, we check in with each other. They're really good people. But the Wheel of Time, and I've said this from the very beginning, and other people have then started saying it, which is Wheel of Time is the proving ground for what Amazon was going to do to the Rings of Power. What they did in Wheel of Time Season 1, they learned from how to lie, how to obfuscate, how to pretend, how to cut things together to make people, to generate interest. They did that with the Rings of Power, and then they bought off all of the fan sites, like, in my opinion, Fellowship of the Fans, Tolkien Professor, all those people. They flew them to London to build all this positive buzz about the show and then become this wall, which is what they didn't do with the Wheel of Time before it came out, which is why Wheel of Time imploded. Like, I've made videos about the huge crash after episode 3 when people left. What you have to realize is what they did with Wheel of Time in Season 2 was overshoot, overspend, and try and make everything be quick edit, to the point where you're literally nauseous and sick. There was no discernible plot. It was just feeling violence, feeling cut, quick. So my guess on what they're going to do with Rings of Power is it's not going to look like some fourth-rate Peter Jackson version of the editing with that Tolkien placid big world feel. I think they're going to go more gritty, and they're going to do what we all feared they do, is they're going to try and turn it into the House of the Dragon. They're going to make it more gritty and whatever it is. That's the only thing I think that they can do to try and drag back anyone to watch this show, because the numbers are absolutely catastrophic. What's fascinating about the Rings of Power, is that if you look at the Wheel of Time,
need more salty rants.
Well, I mean, it's a rant if it's not true. It's called schooling and calling bullshit on bullshit. I'm sorry, I'm going through to try and find some graphs right now. All right, I got my graph.
Okay, you're good. I just want to shout out before you do that. Nosferatu is flying to Japan right now, and me and him are going to party. And you know what, Nos? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to look at my friend. Just let me share my screen. Sorry, I'm going to do it. Here we go.
What are you going to do?
You're going to meet my friend when you get here, Nos.
Oh, yeah. Make this big. Make it big. No. Make it big for the kids at home.
There we go. Oh, my God.
Don't end it too soon. Look at that.
Waiting for you in Japan right now.
I tell you, Gray, I'd like to put that in my mouth. I'd like to put a lot of that in my mouth and chew.
Okay, I just wanted to counter some of the... It's not even darkness, but to give people... Well, what's the word? To wake people up, Salty. Like, did you see that? Jesus Christ. I wish she was my friend. She's not really. But she's a big star on Twitter and, OnlyFans. What am I missing? Gray should have started the weekend early with Habusake. Can you ask what shampoo Salty uses? Because that man's hair is glorious.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I use some hippie shampoo. It's made by some hippies down the road here, and it's got algae and, I don't know, all kinds of shit in it. There's, like, no crazy chemicals and no Bill Gatesy aluminum ball shrinking shit. So, yeah.
No human fat from liposuction.
I didn't say
Never mind. I just watched Fight Club. Even though the Wheel of Time books are gay and dumb, I still love Steve, Salty, and God Poor.
Yes, Nosferatu. But let me get back to my rant. Take this graphic, and this is important because I've showed this on some of Steve's channels, but this kind of shows you how fucked Amazon is.
Hey, Jack, be lucky. Good to see you, mate. Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it. Here we go, Salty. Let me share. Dare I share a salty rant? Here we go.
So these are the minutes viewed on TV shows. Now, over on the far right that was Wheel of Time season 1, and that's the reason why I started my YouTube channel, quite honestly. And I was shocked, and why I was pissed off is no one was at that time that I knew of raising the concerns that I did. And apparently a lot of other people were just as terrified as I was as to what the hell was going on. So why is this important? All the way over on the far left is Wheel of Time season 1 view hours. Okay, that's your baseline. Now, jump over, you can see Reacher, go to Rings of Power. Rings of Power season 1. So Wheel of Time season 1. It's in the center. 1,
there it is, yeah.
And then Rings of Power. Rings of Power cost 10 times more per an episode than Wheel of Time season 1. And it only got 39% more view minutes.
That's just made me laugh.
Wheel of Time season 1 cost $80 million, guys. $80 million. What did the Rings of Power cost? Like, it was a lot. It was just 200 and something million for the rights, not to mention all the production costs, not to mention all the delays, not to mention all the marketing, to only get to spend 10 times as much, to only get 39% more view minutes. This is why the Rings of Power, it's like what I think about it, what you think about it, how it's not canon. Only we give a shit about that. At the end of the day, what Amazon cares about is they wanted butts and seats to make this. Open that stick of what are you taking a rubber out? What the hell's going on over there? Jesus. If we were in the car with my dad driving, he'd reach back and beat you because that's what he used to do to us if you made noise with candy. Yeah, it's a rubber. It's a Japanese rubber.
Cacao, 70%, orange infused chocolate.
Very nice, very nice.
It's absolutely glorious, darling.
You see what I'm saying about this, and this is why there is nowhere to go. And we all know about the retention rates that only 36 or 39% of the people actually finished watching all the episodes. Now, I didn't finish watching it. Gray didn't finish watching it. How many people in chat didn't watch? But the fact is when you stop watching a show, you don't go back. Like, there's no reason to go back. You'll watch YouTube videos like by knuckleheads like me and other people out there, and of course the big YouTubers. But there's no point in going back. Like, I have no interest, and I've been asked, will I watch season 2? I can't do it. I can't do it. And where I'm going with all this is that season 2 of you are such a dick, dude. I love it. It's your channel. You can do whatever you want. But season 2 of the Wheel of Time, was like a steep downward slope because people walked away because it was such a piece of shit that wasn't true to.
Well, that was a huge discrepancy, wasn't it? 100% down to, was it 32 for season 2?
Yeah, and you could see that. So another show had lost 68% of its viewers from the first season. That was Wheel of Time season 1 to Wheel of Time season 2. Okay, so imagine how catastrophic the views are going to be for the Rings of Power season 2. Now, you might get a bounce up with people trying to see, like, okay, did they turn it around? Did anybody do a Hail Mary? But then they're going to be gone. Like, I cannot imagine for any reason ever watching any show that says the Rings of Power ever again, because it's so goddamn terrible. It's just so terrible.
It is. I've got a question for you, Salty, from Jack Be Lucky.
Hey,
he says he's read the first two Wheel of Time books. Not sure if I'm going to continue with the rest. Does it get better?
So here's the thing. I've said this from the very beginning. Wheel of Time, Eye of the World. It was a very tentatively written book by Robert Short, where I think he was too careful in trying to be too pleasing.
I agree, by the way.
I happen to like The Great Hunt. I think book 2 is really good. Book 2, The Great Hunt, is really good.
Yeah,
and
I thought it was much better.
3, The Dragon Reborn, is really good too. Not every fantasy series is going to appeal to you, and that's okay. Prophet of the Dragon happens to love God, what's his name? Brandon Sanderson. I tried to read Brandon Sanderson, and it makes my head explode because I don't like the way he writes at all, at all. But I don't begrudge anybody else reading it. If you look at, that's okay. If you're looking for some good reads that are out there, I don't know. So don't take this the wrong way, but I've really taken a deep dive back into 80s fantasy, and everybody knows it. But check out the Dragon Riders of Pern by Anne McCaffrey.
Anne McCaffrey. Okay.
Anne McCaffrey is simply outstanding. That's one of those books that I recommend to everybody. I'm going to jump over here. The Icewind Dale. Sorry. I have books all over my office. This is another thing. If you didn't like that and you want something a little more faster paced, check out the Icewind Dale trilogy by R.A. Salvatore. You'll recognize that name. It's very heavily involved in Forgotten Realms. He's done a lot of good fantasy science fiction stuff. But again, you don't have to apologize for not liking what other people like, and that's okay. I think it gets good. Wheel of Time gets good in book 2, book 3, and book 4, and then we have arguments as to what people like and don't like that are fans. But if it's not your thing, maybe try book 3. But otherwise, hell, go pick up something else, read it. I just started rereading the Shannara Chronicles, and I was cruising through, and I'm book 5 or 6 of what he did, and it's got some good it's got some good parts. But Christ, I'm flipping through pages because I'm like, all right, enough exposition. So, let's get to the action.
I've just started rereading I think it's the 4th time now. I just fancied it. I've gone back to one of my favourite books of all time, William Gibson's Neuromancer. Absolutely love that book. I know you do too.
Dude, I did. It's crazy because the copy that I bought,
good, man.
Was it 82, 83, the paperback? It's in mint condition, that paperback.
You still got it? Yeah, that's awesome.
No, it's going for $400 on eBay.
Oh, Jesus.
Cover from the 80s.
Imagine that.
I couldn't believe it. I remember I bought this at a Walden Books by the arcade. But it's like, it was such a pivotal book, but they're making it. I showed you that. They're making a movie out of the Neuromancer, and they've cast it. And we should do a video on that sometime. But
we should.
I don't have a lot of hope. I don't have a lot of hope in this current environment. If it was done in the UK or I don't know, some other country, but now it's just going to be trans and stupid and dumb. So
I've got an I think it's a serious comment. It's a rare serious comment for Nosferatu. You can never tell. No bullshit, Salty. Please get Kingdoms of Amalur.
I'll have to look it up. I've got a huge stack. I've gone through thrift books and I've bought a lot of things that I hadn't beat up paperback, but I bought them in hardcover now. And because it's, for some reason, I just want everything in hardcover.
The sky above the port was the color of television, tuned to a dead channel. It's not like I'm using, Case heard someone say, as he shouldered his way through the crowd around the door of the chat.
I can read this better.
I know. That's William Gibson, the author. So a lot of people say authors shouldn't read their own books.
He shouldn't read his books.
It's the only version that's on for free on YouTube, so you can actually get that.
I have a lot of respect for him. Not every book that he put out was a winner. And I've tried to read some of his other stuff. There were some deep misses.
His earlier stuff is much better than his later stuff.
I agree. And it's the same thing with Neil Stephenson. Like, a lot of people like his big, thick tomes, like the Baroque Cycle and some of this other stuff. I happen to think Neil Stephenson's earlier stuff, like Zodiac and Snow Crash, those books are freaking awesome.
Snow Crash is much better than his later stuff, and it's much shorter, thank God.
Not anybody in chat who's looking for a good read Snow Crash. It is freaking absolutely one of the best actual real old school cyberpunk novels ever created. So
I dig I said, I can't read for pleasure until I'm done with my stuff.
This is a guy who actually writes great books. In Adega, I did download the Kindle of your book. Check out Ascension. I'm powering through some stuff right now, and then I'm going to read yours. When I get on a tear with a particular author, especially when there's a trilogy, I kind of want to get through it, especially with Terry Brooks. But this is a guy who is an actual author, who has actual talent, who has an actual plan, who doesn't hide behind other big YouTubers to have people call them names if you bring constructive criticism to him. I have immense respect for Adega. He reads his own books. If you don't subscribe to Adega, Dag Outlaw. He will read his own work for free on YouTube, and you can sample it and see if you like what he does. So,
Oh, cool. Nice one. Well, thanks for the shout out for that. Salty. Punk Waddle saying, I'm a fan of steampunk, cyberpunk, any kind of punk. As long as it waddles.
Baby. As long as it waddles. Yeah, it was fun to watch Punk Waddle building Gundam models along with Snacks and Comics. It's great to watch these guys that do the comic stuff. You know, because when I met up, I actually got drunk with Punk Waddle a couple of years ago when we were in Dallas together, and we got to wander around the Dallas Comic Con and to see what his fandoms were, the things that he liked, and it's cool. That's one of the great things about going to these cons is meeting people in real life, and it's a little awkward and weird at first, and then you're like, oh, it's cool, it's chill. But Punk Waddle just hanging out, looking at all the Gundam models at the table, and it's like, I know nothing about that stuff, but I love the fact that somebody else is so excited and enthusiastic about it, you know?
Nosferatu was saying that thing he was talking about is a video game. Okay, the Kingdoms of Amalur. Gotcha, nice one. And he says that cyberpunk is the best sci-fi genre.
It's interesting because I was talking with Purple Valkyrie today about steampunk. And that's a genre I have never really read anything about. And I know I have some samples of books that are in the genre, but she was talking about, in Gray, I don't know if you read any steampunk stuff, but why haven't we not got any good steampunk movies? You know, like a Western with steampunk or something like that. And the reason why she brought it up was that Borderlands movie that's come out, which is completely and utterly miscast. Let's be honest about it. It kind of looks like Borderlands, but my God, that casting is shit. We do not need Cate Blanchett. You know, we don't need Jamie Lee Curtis. Where are all the Gen X, the young Gen X, or the older millennials that have talented actresses that are out there that can do this? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Cate Blanchett's fantastic. She should not be in a Borderlands movie, though. Gray, do you think that's fair?
Oh, I don't even know anything about it. I've just been trying to look up steampunk movies, and you know what the first ones that come up? Mortal Engines, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Wild Wild West, The Golden Compass, Dune, 1984 came up, steampunk.
Let's back. So here's the thing. Wild Wild West was, I don't think you can call it cyberpunk, except for some of the parts at the end with the big robot monster.
Steampunk,
okay?
No.
And then what was the next one that you read?
Mortal Engines came up. I've never seen that.
That was a completely mutilated story. That's actually a decent young adult novel that they wrecked as a movie. That was another thing where they pissed a whole lot of money away and they didn't actually make the story the way it should have been. So that could have been a major franchise. Could have been a major franchise, but they shit the bed on it because, of course, they did. So I don't see that as steampunk, though. I don't. I see that as dystopia, speculative fiction. So
you're going to get steampunk-ish with my last Blood Witch book. It's coming, I swear, says Adiga.
Cool. It was mostly the movies, Adiga. Like, I'm trying to come up with something out there, and I'm sure there's probably anime or manga or whatever it is, which, again, I have a lot of respect for people who can really dig it and get into it. I can't. I like Castlevania. I've tried to watch other things. It is not my jam, and that's okay. That is totally okay. Okay, I would totally, speaking of jamming things, Kate Beckinsale.
We've got Punk Waddle saying, I really think that this Borderlands movie was cast about 5+ years ago, and maybe they're already in contract, but the peak of the popularity for these actors isn't the same. Good point.
I think it's fair. I do think...
Let's have a look. Borderlands.
Cate Blanchett, it's just, she should be doing other things. And Jamie Lee Curtis, I don't want Grandma to get hurt on the movie set. Okay? Like, come on. All right? Now, some of the other stuff with the casting, they made, there's an African-American gentleman that's in there. He's the wrong size. It just looks like some weird they-them, non-gender conforming agenda wrapped around a label of Borderlands. That's the way it looks, just like what we got with Avatar. I was watching Prophet of the Dragon's live stream this morning. I don't know anything about Avatar. I don't give a shit about Avatar, but I do, honestly, but guys, I do care about what my friends care about. And we don't all have to like the same things, right? I mean, like, we don't. I can still, however, be, like, feel empathy for you when something that you love is turned to crap, you know?
You're not feeling it, Salty, these images. Ooh.
No,
oh, hello.
I mean, I want my Kate Blanchett in a sexy, slinky, velvety 1940s dress in a 1940s film noir thing. Has some scorned wife who murdered her husband with a Bogart-esque detective trying to catch her in the act. That is what I want from Kate Blanchett. Or I want her to work with Kenneth Branagh doing Shakespearean stuff. I don't need her to be a lesbian with a black underage girl like in some of the shit she's done. I don't need her to be in this Borderlands bullshit. I don't need her to be some gay rights 1960s whatever. I need her to be what she is, which is a very attractive, very feminine woman who can act really, really well. And there are so many things that she could be doing that require talent and nuance. And this, to me, is not where she should be. I don't know.
Looks pretty cool, that design there, though, I've got to say.
The costuming looks great. It looks pretty darn great. And this is the danger, though. Avatar looked pretty darn great too, Gray. Wheel of Time looked pretty darn great too.
The Peripheral looked pretty good. Pretty good too.
Yeah, Peripheral, True Detective. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, God.
Sandman. Dude, the fucking list is endless. All right? Like I'm over it. It's not even that I don't have any good faith. I have no attention anymore for this shit. I have zero. Hollywood has taught me to not care. I don't even get upset about this shit anymore, which is why I haven't made content in a while. Honestly, my life is too goddamn short to have a heart attack over these assholes who know what they're doing. And what I want from them is I want them to fail to the point where they maybe bring in somebody who knows how to do something. That is not, however, going to be a bunch of millennials that are DEI hires. Now, who is it going to be? I don't know. People from
Have you ever seen
countries?
Steam Boy, Salty? Steam Boy is a good anime.
No, I don't
Steam
watch gay porn. I don't watch gay porn. So.
What? What are you saying?
See, this looks like anime shit, right? I don't want anything to do with this.
Pretty cool. I wonder if Osrada's seen it or played it. Probably made a game version. A game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's baffling because I do know there's a lot of young adult novel stuff in the steampunk genre, and I know there are some books that actually are very critically and from an average reader perspective, really good stories with good characters. It's baffling to me that, well, first of all, I don't want Hollywood to make anything. I don't want Hollywood to make me a club sandwich because they would put a tranny on it and make it black. What I want is either a time machine or I want in the radioactive apocalyptic rubble. And I'm guessing Mrs. Wakizashi is going to make coffee because that's why Gray disappeared, because I could always tell. So
no, she's just borrowing my car. I was like, it's a mess. It needs you can drive it, but it's a mess. Oh dear. So we shout out the chat? So we've got some people watching. What's going on? Hey, Tim's talk. How you doing, Tim? Jack Be Lucky still here. Jack Be Lucky, Hard-Boiled Wonderland at the End of the World. I love that book. Haruki Murakami. It's one of his early books. That's a good one.
It's interesting because a couple of different people, and I know that, and if Nerdporial's still out there, he said that he liked it. Steve, Prophet of the Dragon, has been my conduit to experiencing Avatar because it was so important to him and his family. He doesn't like it. So I think it would be interesting. Tim, reach out to Prophet of the Dragon and Brian, because I'd like to see you guys talk about this. And again, this is a fandom in an intellectual property I have no experience with. But I want to see how other people sort of react to this type of thing and the kind of conversation that you guys would have. Because I find that fascinating. Like, as a content creator on this channel, I want to see my peers talk about this in a constructive way, even if it's nothing I don't know what the hell this thing is about. It's like, okay, there's a dude with an arrow on his head, and there's like a cow or a bison that flies in the sky. I don't know what the fuck this is, but you guys like it, and that's cool, okay? You know, but I think it would be fascinating to watch conflicting opinions and see where you guys end up with this. I think it would be great, you know.
Diabolical Souls has got a great channel, by the way. He's been going over doing episode by episode reviews of Arcane, which I never actually watched it. That was a really highly praised animated series, wasn't it, on Netflix? That was steampunk, wasn't it? Sorry, steampunk. No? Or is it more cyberpunk?
I
Arcane.
I think it's more cyberpunk, but yeah.
Good to see you, man. And Zach's in the chat. Hey, Zach, long time no
what's up?
see. How you doing,
What's up?
baby?
Our man in Canada.
We're going to be wrapping things up soon, aren't we? But yeah, just want to say thanks a lot for popping in and joining our completely all over the place live stream. But so it's been fun just catching up with you, having a chance to chat.
Fun. It was great, and I was messaging with Blair to Blair. It would be today, and we were working on something offline. But it would be great to get Blair and you and I to talk about a good old movie again, because it would be really fun just to talk about. Again, it's nice to talk about things that you love. What's fascinating about YouTube is generally people don't watch videos where you're like, oh my God, I love Star Wars, or I love this movie, or I love that movie, But there are some movies, I think, that have universal appeal. And I think a lot of it has to do with the personalities and the people involved in watching it. Like when we talk about James Bond, or we talk about Blade Runner, it all...
So, those streams that we used to do, the movie reviews we used to do, they've been, for me, I don't get very many views, but they've started getting a little bit of traction recently, out of the blue. And it's the ones where we used to talk fairly seriously, not just like screaming and shouting and, raging against things, talking about good movies. No, we don't do that, do we?
No.
I never do that, darling.
No, that's why, evergreen content is important. And I've got a couple of videos like that, and people who make content, there's things, if it's the right time, and, it helps to have people who are talented to talk to while you're doing it, like being able to talk with Gray and other people. Like Zax is another good guy to bounce off of. Purple Valkyrie is another great content creator. It's just when you have a passion and then you bring these different perspectives in, that's the kind of YouTube that I watch. And I have greatly cut down the amount of shit that I watch on this platform. I can tell you that.
Me too.
Because
I'm listening to more podcasts these days. Sorry. I'm listening.
Care about Disney. Oh my God, another Marvel movie fail. No fucking way. You know what I mean? Oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, I have reached a pre-critical point where, as a content creator, I don't have it in me to tell you the fucking perfectly obvious anymore. Okay?
Listen, Sully, can you vamp for like 1-2 minutes vamp? I'll be right back. Go for it. Go for it, baby. Go for it.
And it's crazy because you can look at it across the platform, what's kind of been going on. And there seems to be a real shakeup as to, a lot of us came to this platform because Star Wars sucked, or because Game of Thrones was crazy, or because of what they did to Doctor Who, right? And at that time, we were kind of out going there. Are we crazy? Are we the ones that are nuts? And it was really important for us to find a group of people and be like, oh my God, we're not the only ones that feel this way. And it was helpful for a lot of us. And then some of us, like myself and Zax and Steve and Nerdporial and so many people in chat, started YouTube channels because we wanted to go out there and express ourselves in what we were feeling too. If you didn't try to copy what the big channels were doing, I think that you ended up actually getting some traction and getting monetized. If you tried to be what the big channels were, you ended up going nowhere. So now here we are 3 years later. Those big channels, they're still doing what they did 3 years ago. They've gotten a new audience to come in, but a lot of us who've watched them before are gone. As a consequence of that, it's really hard to sit down and watch the same videos with the same things, with the same takes from 3 years ago, at least for me. And I have unsubscribed to a lot of people because simply I have moved on. I and Gray and other people, I have tried to make videos that are informative and transformative and don't just, oh my God, Disney's woke. How many fucking times do we need to have the same video? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's, I'm trying to express something that's a lot more complex than that, and it's late, and
I'm with you, mate. I'm not unsubscribed so much, but I'm just not watching the same channels I was watching.
I don't care about Rachel Ziegler
2 years ago. I'd rather watch something positive. Yeah?
No, I wouldn't. The first 30 Rachel Ziegler videos were fine, but now we've reached the point where, do I need to watch another 45 minutes talking about Rachel Ziegler? Do I need to watch another 45 fucking minutes talking about Walt Disney? No. Do you? You can. But it's just,
You need to send a Punk Model a super chat next time you're on his, because he says you make a valid point, Salty. He's giving you a compliment. What's going on? It's unbelievable.
It makes a lot of goddamn sense. That's why I'm not a big channel, and I never will be, and I'm okay with that. You know.
Wait a minute. What did you just say? You're not a big channel. You're not a big channel. Come on, what are you talking about?
No.
Salty, the reason I ran upstairs, I wanted to show you some physical media I managed to get. Here we go, the first one. Physical copy of Transformers, issue 5. Let's just go full screen. Here we go.
Yeah.
Where are we? Solo layout, sorry about that. Hide the comment. Daniel Warren Johnson, issue 5 just came out. It's absolutely awesome. It's so much fun. Sorry about the glare.
No, you're actually managing it really well. That shading looks fantastic in that comic book.
It's so fluid. The way he does, it's like a mixture of kind of manga style and, of course, great American comic book style. And he does it all without digital. You can tell it's all been hand drawn. I love the onomatopoeia, Salty. Onomatopoeia.
I mean, you can see the humanity in this, and not only that, but you kind of don't want perfectly straight lines and something like that. You want that humanity, and you want the human shading element. You don't want things to be perfect. It's gorgeous.
So cool. And one more. I got a latest issue of The Scorched from Image. It's part of the Spawn series. It's just $2.99. It's a cardboard cover. It's gorgeous. It's good quality, decent art.
Wow.
Nice storytelling. Yeah.
Is it a good story though? I mean, that's the trick to all of this. Is if you don't
it's pretty good. Pretty good.
It doesn't matter. Great.
Jessica
if you don't have
Priest,
a good story,
she's born.
It doesn't matter how many South Americans you hire to put in 3D assets in your comic book. It doesn't matter. You know, gotta have a good story. I don't give a shit. Fuck those guys. Just if you haven't figured it out, the amount of shameless, talentless, hack, goddamn grifters who literally just fuck each other's dick nonstop for clout. It's just no, and it has nothing to do with jealousy. It's just that I'm going to be 54 years old in 2 weeks. I put a lot of time and effort into trying to do things and live an authentic life and be a good person and offer honesty. And what I figured out is there's a lot of 54-year-olds who are on this platform who don't fucking do that. And it's funny when you meet him in person and you really see that. But it's just funny, like, now that entertainment is genuinely dead in this country, because it really is. All the people that used to make a lot of super chats off of shitting and giving shit takes on YouTube about that entertainment by saying the same obvious fucking thing on a panel with 12 people every week saying the same fucking thing about the same fucking show, getting $500 super chats, which, dude, who the fuck in the right mind gives anybody a $500 super chat? Okay,
it's insane. It's insane. Sorry, I think though they're getting like it's new audience, like you were saying. It's probably a lot of new audience, a lot of new viewers. So that's who's watching now.
It's just there is nothing that people care enough to get upset about that's coming out in the cinemas, Gray. That's my point in all this. And what do you do if you're one of these big channels? Because if nobody even gives a fuck about this movie coming out to want to see a shit take on it, how do you grift on YouTube for these guys? It's a fascinating thing that we're starting to see in real time. Yes. Yeah, we were talking about that, Jack B. Lucky, and about the monthly, the Savage Sword of Conan that's coming out. It's going to be magazine size, 80 pages. I cannot wait for that because Grace shared the advanced reading copy with me. It's freaking amazing story.
This is a regular Conan series. It's been so good. It's violent. It's sexy. It's bringing into a bit of magical. It's the proper sword and sorcery. And Jim Zub's writing it without being censored like he used to be when he was doing the Marvel version of Conan a couple of years ago. So much better than that. Really, really good. That's something to shout out. Something positive. So yeah, thanks for that comment, Jack. Good to see you. Wow, you know what, Salty? An hour ago we had I think there was 2 people watching. It was me and you and Nosferatu, your barmy. Now we've got 14 watching. It's amazing for me. And we're going to wrap things up, aren't we? What should we do?
What should we do? That. I mean, but here's the thing. I mean, I'm not saying this to be sensational. There's no sour grapes. Again, I'm Salty Traveling C. I don't know. I'm at 3,600 subscribers. I'm proud of those. I earned every fucking one. Didn't take any shortcuts that sabotaged my channel or got me demonetized. And it's a tough slog, but at the same point, my motivation for doing this was not for clout or for popularity. It was to get better at making videos. And
yeah,
I guess that's the point where I've gotten now, and why I've reeled back is it's like, if I don't really care about something, I'm not going to make a video about it, because why would I? I cared about Doctor Who. And the thing about what was going on with Doctor Who in the return of Russell T Davies was, what was going on behind the camera was worth talking about. What was going on in front of the camera, who gives a shit? It's dumb, it's stupid. But the fact that Disney involved and all of the messaging that's going out there, I think that's worth talking about. But I already did a video about what's Leslie Headland. The story is not about Disney Star Wars. That shit's fucking dead. The Acolyte, nobody's going to watch it. Like, spoiler. But the real story is understanding Leslie Headland. Yes, she was the personal assistant of fucking Harvey Weinstein, but there's a lot more to it than that. It's the things that she said about George Lucas, what has been said about the show, her perspectives and her lying, and then putting videos together, catching her lying about what she's done and she hasn't done, and what she wants to do to George Lucas. That's the fucking story of stuff like this. Not that, oh my God, Kathleen Kennedy's getting fired, and oh, where's the fucking George Lucas cut of the fucking Rise of Skywalker? I mean, all of this bullshit from these retards out there, and people believe it. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. I don't have to sit there and say it's okay, though. You know why?
Everything's okay.
In your brain when you turn 50, where you're like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Oh God,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
I don't rely on this platform for money. I have a career.
We do it as a hobby, mate. Don't we? We do it as a hobby. It used to be fun. Yeah. It is when we have good friends on.
But it was fun, Gray, when I think some of us had hoped that we would make a difference. And what we've come to realize is, not only is the fact that virtually all of social media, which is the organic way of marketing your product, completely turned against Hollywood, but even paying off shill articles and magazines and buying off things like Empire Magazine and Screen Rant and Collider and Vice.
That used to be good.
BuzzFeed, that they literally were in business only to repeat a lie, to go watch shitty entertainment. All of those websites have now crashed and are gone. BuzzFeed is gone. Vice is closed today. We have reached a point where Hollywood has literally queered the water so much that people have learned not to trust a fucking thing that they do or say. And nothing will get people's butts in the movie theater to watch a goddamn thing, with very few exceptions. Look at Super Mario Brothers. The reason why people turned out to Barbie is Warner Brothers deliberately lied about what the movie was about to get people in there. And then they bragged about it in magazine articles. That's why women went to go see Barbie. Then, Dune 2, I'm going to go see it. I said we talked about it earlier. It's a beautiful movie, but I
am excited for that. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see. Is it Fade? Oh my God, I forget his name. Fade Ruther. The knife fights out. I can't wait for that. What about this from Nosferatu? Most people are retarded because they want to be famous. People that want 1 million subs are usually narcissistic nutjobs. Like me and Salty.
I mean, it's interesting because I came up with some pretty big YouTubers. We started out of the same place, and I watched them catapult. And they have a lot of talent. They also put a lot of time into it, and they have a very different style than I do. But a lot of my experience in what YouTube has been is it's you got to have talent, you got to have drive, and then you got to get lucky and have some balls and attach yourself to a much larger group. One thing I'm not really good at, because I'm a Gen X kid, is kissing anybody's fucking ass, like at all. Just can't fucking do it. You know what I mean? And it's got nothing to do with envy. It just has to do with, if I think you're a fucking retard, I really can't pretend that's not the case. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people, and they can exist, and whatever it is, but when you kind of see somebody making the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and that's all they know how to do, it's kind of really hard, and they're not putting a lot of time and effort into it. I just can't. I've watched people, and I'm not going to name names, and everybody in chat's going to know who I'm talking about, try to buy their way to be a cool kid, to give tens of thousands of dollars to the cool kids to try and get to be part of that club. Didn't work. you know? And it's like you start looking around at people and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, not everybody's motivation is to be what mine was. I came on here to make the kind of content that I want to see. That's all that I did. And I got lucky because I got to work with really cool, talented people. I got to work with Purple Valkyrie. I got to work with Max Field von Priestley. I just was like, Max, let's go. Because we were all small YouTubers. I got to work with Zax before Zax showed his face and all this other stuff. We made magic because we weren't trying to be anything than who we are, and we were fucking authentic. You know, and I think what's happened to YouTube is that there's a lot of really big channels that I'm not sure how many of them have really been authentic. And now they're kind of backed in a corner. Because I've heard a lot of people that I used to respect contradict themselves on lore, on things that they said that they knew about, on wanting to defend fandoms that they would convert their whole channel to attack a streaming service if they destroyed Tolkien, and they didn't, that they weren't going to cover Doctor Who anymore, and then as soon as they watched other people get views, they started to cover Doctor Who. It's funny. It's funny, you know? Like, if I fucking say I'm not going to do something, I'm not going to do it. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. But I have, you know...
Also one says he sticks with the small channels.
Dude, yeah.
Come on.
Seriously. I don't get it, and
at least we're genuine. We might be completely clueless at times. We've not got any idea what I'm doing, but you get the real thing.
All that I want to do is hang out with somebody who's fucking real. You know, the only currency we have here is our authenticity. And when you wear a fucking mask, and that mask keeps slipping over time, or you change who you are because you go on another large channel and you start going along and giving all this ground and pretending to be something you're not, you have lost my fucking respect. And you know what? I don't count on this fucking platform for money because you're fucking nuts if you do. Okay? You really are. Like, you got to have a goddamn job. You know, like, YouTube is not the place to go, kids, to make fucking money. Greg can tell you that. I can tell you that. Everybody can tell you that, right?
People can get big, but also authentic. But 90% of the people aren't, though. Nosferatu, you're right, mate. And social media has made people think they're special, and it's ridiculous, isn't it? Anyway, I kissed a turtle yesterday, says DJ Ronnie G. So there we go. Wow. And Tim's Talk wants to talk with you as well, Salty. He's interested in what you've been saying, and I think he wants to do maybe.
I've always said this. Ask Ray. I just don't go on YouTube anymore because honestly, I don't give a shit anymore. I just don't. My body of work speaks for itself, and my reputation speaks for itself. There's a lot of big YouTubers that can't fucking stand me, and that's fine because I can't fucking stand them either. Because I told them that to their face, and fuck them. So whatever. You know, like I'm crying myself to sleep. Oh no! The Mr. YouTube asshole doesn't fucking like me. Oh well. You know what I mean? Holy shit.
So, Salty, mate, before we wrap up, What are you looking forward to? I won't say what you got coming up because I guess you're going to be doing Doctor Who when it actually starts, are you? Do some coverage?
Yeah, I've been talking with Jed, Hollywood Scholar.
Good luck, mate. Good luck with Doctor Who. Jesus.
Reprobates in the back, you know, we're trying to help each other out. I'll probably end up watching it with Jed and some other people. And there's a couple of people from England that I'll probably do some videos on. There's been some Doctor Who kerfuffle out there with some of the stuff Matt Smith said, shitting on the current show iteration and all the trannies and fucking lost it on YouTube or fucking Twitter. Who cares? They're fucking morons. And then some other shit that's going on. But I'll be covering that. I have been watching Masters of the Air. I cannot recommend it enough. I rate it higher than the House of the Dragon Season 1. If you go in expecting it to be Band of Brothers, you're going to be disappointed, however. But I am on the high seas. I'm not going to give Apple any goddamn money. But go check out the Masters of the Air if you want something that's a little slower burn but incredibly well-crafted. Aerial combat scenes from World War II. You can tell the parts where Steven Spielberg was heavily involved. And then you can tell the parts when all the morons, the retards from Hollywood.
I've been enjoying it too. I'm looking forward to the new episode which drops today, Friday my time. I'm in Japan, I'm in the future. Salty, just let me address this from Nosferatu. Here we go. He said this to me before, and this is a really good point. Just do the things you actually like instead of content you think will get more views. if you get views off content you're passionate about, that's great, and that's it. This is what I'm like. I could review Batman, Spider-Man, the main comics, but I don't anymore. Because I get more views for those. But what's the point if I don't even like them, I don't enjoy them? I want to talk about something I enjoy and get 60 views. I don't give a shit. I'm not making money from YouTube.
And that's the thing, is it doesn't matter if you get 200 views or 400 views, or you get 60 views, you still get about 4 cents. Okay.
Yeah,
and then
this is the reality.
30% of that 4 cents. So you gotta love what you want to do. Okay. It's not like even if you're getting a video views with like 100,000. I think the biggest one I ever had was 80. I had a couple 80s and 60s. You're getting $1, maybe.
No, come on, you get a bit more than that. Sorry, we got to shout out the members, because it's thanks to the members that we actually get anything from YouTube. You don't get it from the watch ads. And I've got mine the lowest setting, by the way. I'm sorry about the ads coming on. I've got it on it gives you 3 options. It's conservative, it's balanced, and then it's aggressive. There you go. There's a bit of behind the scenes talk. I've got it on conservative, but it still like drops bloody ads in the middle. So, and I don't do that on my reviews. I don't have ads in the middle. It's only on the live streams. I want to make a point about that. But yeah, what's it worth it? 30 cents for 1,000 views.
No,
30 cents.
I mean, in the shorts are even worse. I don't know. Maybe they upped the volume on that.
You don't get anything from shorts. Jesus.
Maybe they upped it, but I mean, some of the videos that it takes me 3 to 5 hours to edit because I'm a perfectionist.
Oh yeah, same here. I'm not a perfectionist though, but
maybe be a couple bucks for that. But then you got to think about, I take a lot of pride in what I do. You could also call that being obsessive compulsive when it comes to video making, and I think either one are acceptable. But that's time I'm not outside. It's time that I'm not walking on the ocean or out in the woods or whatever the hell it is. I'm not out in physical space. I'm in this goddamn box over here, which I spend a lot of time in for work anyway, with what I do professionally. And it just, that's why after Season of Time, Wheel of Time, Season 2 of Wheel of Time came out, it really did break us. Did you guys notice how all of us, Alex from the White Cloaks, myself, Prophet of the Dragon, Man of Manethrin, we literally dropped off the face of the earth, because that was kind of this watermark in viewing pop culture for years, where I never experienced anything that psychologically destructive, in psychically destructive. And that's why I'm cautioning very heavily about what they do in the Rings of Power Season 2, because they seem to use the shit that they do in Wheel of Time and import that in there. But yeah, I mean, I stopped making videos for months after that. And then I got fired up about Doctor Who. And then I haven't made a video in a couple of months. And it's like, because I don't give a shit about anything. It's not because I don't want to hang out with you guys and I don't love you guys and I don't love my friends. I really do. I talk to them all the time on Twitter and social media. You guys don't see that. I just do not fucking care about what Hollywood is doing. And to me, it cannot die fast enough. It cannot die fast enough, guys. I'm not saying that even being bitter. It's just, it has no purpose anymore except to demoralize us. It's meant
just
to
going to piss you off, bring you down.
Well, no, and shame us. And they don't. It's not like they tell a good story that demoralizes and shames you. They just come out there and strap their pants, spread their cheeks, and blow a Chipotle shit all over everything, and then they call you names because you don't like it. It's like, I don't have to participate.
I don't care about that. It doesn't bother me. They're not shaming me because I don't even take it seriously. Nosferatu, my point, treating this as a hobby and something you enjoy is way healthier mentally. I've known people that went nuts worrying about views, likes, and everything instead of real life. What is real life though, sorry?
It'll happen with friends. It'll happen with friends where you both drop a video on the same day and somebody's getting, let's say somebody gets a couple hundred, let's say 500, and then another people gets 4,000. And there are hard feelings, and you don't even know it sometimes on both sides. And it's like you'd be surprised. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, guys. I thought when I got monetized, it'd be like hallelujah. Nah, it was cool. But you got to remember, when I got monetized, I had to have 4,000 watch hours. I had to have 4,000 watch hours or 6,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers.
1,000 subs and 4,000 when I finally got monetized.
Yeah, you and I were on the same page. It was like 2 or 3 times as much as what it is now. So you really had to have something of value for people to come to. And, you know, it's like now they're like, well, we'll just cut the requirements in half and you'll get a YouTube participation trophy because YouTube wants 1/3 of your super chat money, which is why they did what they did, because this platform is fucked. That's why the commercials are now 30 seconds long and unskippable, because this platform isn't making any money either.
That's why the big channels don't get taken down for anything supposedly even slightly controversial, because the amount of money the big channels are bringing in from super chats is absolutely huge. Imagine 30% of what they're making. You know, even 30%.
They negotiate. They actually pay a lot less. Great. They pay a lot less than 30%. They get lawyers. Because they make their money over volume of super chats, not the totality of the amount given in super chats. So they might be paying, you know, someone with upwards of 1 million might only be giving 10 or 50% of their super chats, and the creator gets to keep the rest, because YouTube will make more money that way, because that creator won't bugger off and go to another platform. So yeah, that's actively happening here, guys. Like, and that's fine. Like, good for you. If you work that hard, or you got here early enough, then good for you. Who can begrudge somebody that? Seriously.
Nosferatu, I thought you liked me because of me British accent, mate. Because we're not huge channels. I know, mate. I know. I've been there as well. Okay, sorry, God, we could just keep going on and on, couldn't we? But we've got to wrap things up. It's late for you. It's late for people out there. Mrs. Wakizashi will be coming back soon, screaming at me, Gray, why haven't you washed the rice? Come on, what are you doing?
Why you no scrum? Why you no scrum coffee pot? Yankee?
Jesus, you went Chinese then? What the hell?
Sayonara, sucker.
That was great.
Sayonara, sucker. So great to see you in the chat. Thank you for all your support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to us. Well, mainly Salty, having a bit of a, not a rant, you know, telling the truth. Telling it how it is. This is how it is. It is what it is.
Fucking done. Like, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I just, like, I look at what's going on and it's just
don't care. It was made to care, Salty.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
All I know is I read a good Spider-Man. Go check out Spider-Man: The Ultimate Universe, issue number 2. It's a little wordy in some parts. Hi, Mrs. Wakizashi. And also, keep your eyes out for the Savage Sword of Conan from Titan Comics. Magazine issue size. First issue comes out on February 28th. It's awesome. Thanks for having me on, Gray.
Take it easy, and don't forget, before we finish, don't forget.
It's better to burn out than to fade away.